Hello, and welcome to Sanlando Sound Waves. I am Ethan Bade, and this is week 17, day 82. Today, our reading is Deuteronomy chapter 11, verses 26 through 32. See, I am setting before you today a blessing and a curse. The blessing, if you obey the commands of the Lord your God that I am giving you today. The curse, if you disobey the commands of the Lord your God, and turn from the way that I command you today by following other gods which you have not known. When the Lord your God has brought you into the land you are entering to possess, you are to proclaim on Mount Gerizim the blessings, and on Mount Ebal the curses. As you know, these mountains are across the Jordan westward toward the setting sun, near the great trees of Moreh, in the territory of those Canaanites living in the Arabah, in the vicinity of Gilgal. You are about to cross the Jordan to enter and take possession of the land the Lord your God is giving you. When you have taken it over, and are living there, be sure that you obey all the decrees and laws I am setting before you today. Now let's consider our 7 arrows, or 7 questions. What does this passage say? What did this passage mean to its original audience? What did this passage tell us about God? What did this passage tell us about humanity? What does this passage demand of me? What does this passage change the way I relate to people? What does this passage prompt me to pray to God? Now let's look at the brief devotional about this passage on page 98 of our book, 7 Arrows. 2 mountains serve as an ever-present reminder to God's people once they entered the land. On one mountain, Mount Gerizim, they created a memorial to the blessings of God, and on the other, Mount Ebal, they built a reminder to God's curses. Each mountain reminded them of the clear instructions of God. If they obeyed God's word in the land, they would experience His blessings. If they disobeyed Him, they would experience His curse. The primary way the people disobeyed was by worshiping the false gods found among the inhabitants of the land. They had already been freed from slavery, given the law, experienced God's presence, and soon they would be in the land. Each of these steps was the clear result of God's grace, which should have propelled the people toward obedience. They should have obeyed as a response to God's grace, and were further warned about the consequences of disobeying. Christians today do not obey in order to experience salvation, but once we have been saved, we seek to obey God as a response to His grace. As we obey, we find that God's ways are a path to life and blessing, and that following after sin only leads to destruction. Thanks for joining us today. We hope you'll tune in tomorrow.